You got to get this story in, and we'll get back to serious stuff. But in your book, you made Vince McMahon Sr. mad one night with a rubber ball. Tell that story.
Yeah,
it was just hilarious.
I was a little dumb and young, you know. I mean, I'd come out of New York, and I'd found a little spot there, and you know, Vince Sr. didn't think that, you know, I was a NWA, you know, Amarillo boy. I wasn't a WWF guy, you know, and I wasn't from the Northeast. So I was more of a Texan instead of a Yankee, you know. So
plus, you had already cracked the shell of his golden goose, you know.
Yeah, but he'd come back. He wasn't hurt for long. But anyway, it was. I kind of had this attitude now that I had established myself in New Japan, and New Japan had came to me and said, is Vince booking you? And I said, no, I'm booking myself. And, you know, this is after I've been gone, but this was at the second time tour that Vince did book me. They came to me then, though, and said, is Vince booking you? I said, no, I'm going to book myself. So that got back to him, I'm sure, and then he felt, and rightfully so, that, you know, that I wasn't appreciative or whatever, and that wasn't the case, but I wanted to be in kind of control of my own career, right? So they came to me, and so Vince, anyways, so we had this big Madison Square Garden tour, and they had these balls everybody had signed, and we'd throw them out. And so me being, I mean, I look back, and I really am sorry that I did this, but, you know, I was in the dressing room, and we're all standing there, and we all go out to the ring, and Vince opens up the tour and everything and speaks and everything. And so I got this ball, and we're going to throw all these balls out, and then Vince is going to open up the whole tour by speaking and everything. And I got this ball, and I bounced it up, and I said, you know, in front of everybody, too. I mean, it's so stupid. I mean, you know, I'm embarrassed that I did this because I shouldn't have done it. But anyway, I said, you know, Vince, I'm going to take this ball and I'm going to drill you right between the eyes. You know, and I was, you know, kind of, you know, there's a smirk on my face, just kind of laughing. Nothing, boy. He was just... Ooh, he didn't take it right, you know. Yeah, I mean, I was really
didn't get over.
I was
Look
really
at the time.
But then I'd made that deal, so now all the boys are looking. So now we're out in the ring right now. We're going, okay, I'm throwing it, and it comes down. I got one ball left, and Vince is standing over there, just distinguished, you know, looking really good, you know, and well, like he was, you know. And I go. And I wind up, and I actually, at one time, I coached a lot of baseball, and I could throw the baseball pretty accurate. But anyway, I got up, and I about 1.5 inches over his head.
On purpose, you didn't hit him. But
I mean, it went where I wanted it to go, but if I'd made a mistake, I could have hit him right in the face. I mean, it was a soft, pliable ball. It wouldn't have hurt him, but it would have been bad.
Just beating Vince McMahon.
But I missed him.
Senior at the start of the track team tournament.
He never quite forgave me for that, you know, but...
What was the differences between Vince Sr. and Vince Jr.? I know you probably knew Sr. better than you know.
I did. You know, I worked for Sr. You know, both times I went through New York. You know, Sr. was there and was the boss, and Vince was, you know, obviously. The first time I went through, Vince was more of a kind of a promoter, and he did the interviews basically, and that's all the involvement I ever had with him. He had a couple of towns, Hartford and some other town, New Haven maybe, but he wasn't, you know, involved in that I was aware of. I had no idea who was involved, you know, in the real business part of it anyway, but the second time, you know, Vince, you know, he was more, looked like that he was into the business now instead of the, you know, the guy that had his own, you know, the son or something. He was involved with Vince and his business, and so obviously he started honing his talent, you know, during that time, you know. So you know, he's obviously changed the business and changed the direction of tons of stuff, you know, been very successful.